What's up, media world? It's your host with the most rain, the rock star, Mr. What He Go Do Next, and it's another episode of the Fabulous Spotlight. And today's episode, we're going to have Zip Mouth Management and other topics. So let's begin. I'm going to bring on my guest slash co-host, Zip Mouth Management. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
What's going on, Zip?
Welcome to the show. I like that.
Like that. Well, this is the coffee table where we speak freely. You say what you want, and we don't care what the media or the world has to say. And I do thank you for coming on the show and taking your time out to talk to the viewers and everybody and whatnot. You wiping that chicken grease off?
No, it was boiled peanuts.
Spicy?
Spicy.
Got that? No other way. Tell the world about you.
I don't know. Okay, so my name is Zip Mouth. Well, that's what people call me. My name really is Demasha, but they call me Zip Mouth. I do a lot of stuff. I'm from everywhere. I don't want to say I'm from everywhere because like my family was military, so I really don't claim one place. You know what I'm saying? I've been a lot of places. I don't know. I just feel like I'm me. Like I'm just me. I'm just being me.
Okay. Well, how did you get into management?
So it just fell in my lap one day. I initially was like helping someone build their business. You know what I'm saying? Like build their management business. And so in me helping them do that, they asked me to do some management. And I was thinking like, I manage people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Like they lives, like they want to change because I mindset coach, you know? So I was like, I don't think I could really do this, but I've been doing it. So that's how it happened. It just kind of fell in my lap. Like, this is what you're doing right now.
Sound like a destiny to me.
Some will say that. Some will say that.
Being shy, it's your destiny. If clients fell in your lap and they're coming to you on a regular or at a nice pace, that's your calling. And exactly what you know what you're doing. And I'm attest to that. So I think you ought to do it. Now, my thing is, what trials and tribulation have you dealt with being a female manager and I'm going to say going on the road with your artists if they travel or promoting your artists?
I would say the biggest trial and tribulation is the industry is really cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, now this is just my own personal opinion. People can feel, whatever they feel about it, but it's just really cutthroat. It doesn't really help the artist. And so I genuinely want to help the artist, whether it's an artist, whether it's a podcaster, like anybody that I'm managing, because I manage different people. Everybody does something different, So anybody that I'm managing, I want to see them be successful. And so this game is such a money grabbing game. But the thing is like people don't have money in the beginning of this because you have to spend out so much money in order to get that return. And so the men are vicious. The men in the industry are vicious. So when you're a woman and you're a woman such as myself that's professional and talks in a professional manner, don't get me wrong, because I can be hood too. I just grew up. But at the same time, they don't like it. They don't like the fact that, oh, who is this woman coming in there and she trying to I'm not trying to tell you. I'm just trying to get information so I can give the people that I manage quality resources. You know what I'm saying? Because like you could spend $1,000, $2,000 like in 2 days in the industry, whether it's in podcasting, whether it's in music. I manage someone's life as far as them transitioning into a book. You could spend that money very fast. And so people want their money to go where it needs to go. They don't want to be like shuck and jive. And so because this game is so shuck and jive, and not everyone, just certain people in the industry are shuck and jive, and they're not really making any motion. The motion is in their mind. You know what I'm saying? And I want the people that are surrounded by me to be successful. Because if they're successful, then I'm successful.
Facts. It's definitely a cutthroat business, and what a lot of people don't realize, it's called independent, When you decide, hey, I want to rap, I want to sing, I want to podcast, I want to do barbecue, you have to either have a backing or you
Mhm.
got to budget your money, because either way, it's not like you just go walk out there, be broken. It just happened. It's impossible,
Exactly.
you know. And I commend you as for being a female that jump into this business, because it is cutthroat. It's a lot of wolves out there, but hey man, you do what you got to do. If you got to bite them, you bite them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a good team is for too, but not just to make sure the work is done, but for the protection and advancement. That makes sense.
Right. Right. It makes a lot of sense.
If I'm correct, you do design too.
Um, Rain. No. Okay, so I knew you was gonna get me.
Mm, mm,
He
mm.
set me up, y'all.
I didn't
So
set you up. You just
I
you,
do, I do, like pictures or flyers or things of that nature. So I do that. And I mainly do it for like the people that I manage. I do outsource sometimes, but I mainly do it for the people that I manage, because I know there are certain things that they need that they can't afford to purchase. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're new in this game, you really cannot afford to pay such and such money for 5,000 flyers. You feel what I'm saying?
right.
So, okay, allow your manager to take care of it. So I kind of like just about everything that they possibly need, I can do it in house. You know what I'm saying? Like I could just do it. I just need to know in advance what they need. Like if they want a video made, like a short made for YouTube, or if they want some pictures, you can come. Let me do you a photo shoot at my house right quick. Some basic pictures, 3 outfits. You know what I'm saying? I'll edit them up for you. You can take them and do whatever you want to do with them. And so I do that as an add-on because I want them to be successful. And
Right.
so I know what it takes to be successful in this business or in branding or anything like that. I've had my business for 5 years, so I know what it takes to be successful. It's just that I know that people don't have that big of a budget to do it. I probably spent, I don't even want to tell you how much money I spent in my business, but go ahead.
You have your own podcast as well. Please tell us. Do tell.
Yes. So I started my podcast probably like about 5 years ago. And I actually started my podcast in the car, on my phone, on an Android phone, not an iPhone, on my phone, drinking brown liquor every time I got frustrated. So I went through a dark space in my life. And I had a friend, and he was like, because they call me Zip Mouth because I don't talk like that. Like I'm not a big talker. Where I talk to a lot of people, I'm kind of quiet. I stay to myself. I want to say I'm shy, but people say I'm not shy because they say I will like, get you together. But for the most part, I was like, I needed an outlet. Like I needed some way to get stuff off my chest without talking to people. Because I had trust issues. I don't trust people. People talk too much. Everybody got a best friend. I don't have time for that because I believe your words have power. So if I tell you something in confidence, I expect you to keep it confident. So
Right.
on the podcast, it was kind of like I could motivate people and not telling my business in the beginning. I was just kind of like motivating them, just letting them know like you could get through situations, but it was helping me too. You know what I'm saying? Like it was helping me too. The topics that I was coming up, it was helping me get out of that dark space that I was in, because I would listen to the podcast and I'd be like, oh my God, did you say that? You know what I'm saying? And it was, I'm telling you, it was like God was speaking to me through me and
Okay.
out to the people. It was an amazing thing. So my podcast is my baby. It's like my favorite thing to do, to get on my podcast and say whatever I want to say and feel however I want to feel. And nobody can tell me nothing because the podcast is Zip Mouth Motivation.
Let them know where to catch the podcast and everything, or if they want to sign up to the management company, let them know where to find you.
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can find me just about any podcast stream. I do episodes every Tuesday, live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and then Thursday I do what I call Fresh Insight, New Perspective, and I have a co-host, Dr. Sierra, and then I'm getting ready to start another side. So there's gonna be another day that they'll be able to find Zip My Podcast plus some other podcasters, because I'm gonna involve some other podcasters in like a monthly group discussion.
Okay. Yeah, that. Name some of the artists that you manage?
Okay, so I manage Rain.
Me? Really? Wow. Okay. What? Okay.
Mike Moultrie. I have a new artist that's coming on. He's T Money. I won't call him T Money until he say I can say his real name. Those are the one. Oh, and Son. So that's just a few of the artists that I manage. That's just a few of the people, because I manage other people that are not artists.
Okay. Dig that. And for the listeners and the viewers, I got to correct something. She was not drinking brown liquor in her car. She was drinking Taylor Port.
Don't be. We just had this conversation. I'm not drinking teleport. I'm 100% not drinking teleport.
Hey, I had to do it.
That is not good.
That's some horrible shit, boy. It's all bad. But they love it. Moving forward. You're a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
How did you? Well, I ain't say how did you get into it, but what's it like dealing with different topics or different people's emotions and attitudes as a motivational speaker?
It's up and down. It's up and down, because I have some people that they think I'm preaching to them, and they don't realize that I'm not preaching to you. I am telling you what I went through so that it makes it a little easier for you. You know what I'm saying? And then you have some people that are like, I really needed that. I really, you know what I'm saying? But then you have some people who, like, you're saying something from an experience that you've been through or something that you've been, and they really think you in their business. And so they get mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know your business. I don't know what you've been through. I'm just telling you what I've been through, where I'm going, what I feel. I'm gonna say I'm faith-based, but I'm not organized Christianity. Like, I'm spiritual. So I believe there's a God. So whatever it is that circles around that, then that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, a lot of situations like that are because when a lot of people go through the same thing but a different magnitude. So if people feel like if you're not going through the magnitude they're going through, you're not going through it, and which is not true at all. It's just yours is a little deeper or less deeper than what is going on. And then a lot of people just don't want to hear the truth. If you a crackhead, just hey, you a crackhead. If you steal, you steal. I mean, just accept what you are, and then we go forward. So.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy is you say that, and people think that like some people have said, well, I felt like you was judging me, but I'm probably the least judgmental person. Like, I'm the kind of person, like, if you a crackhead, be a crackhead. I'm still gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still gonna treat you the same way. If you a thief, be a thief. I might clutch my purse a little bit more because you ain't gonna keep stealing from me. But I'm still gonna respect you for who you are. Like, I don't. I tell people, like, I don't not. And I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't care. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Like, you are who you are, and I am who I am, and that's all that matters.
Well, I mean, a lot of people got to accept the fact you're going to be judged from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, from the time you're born to the time you die. You're going to be judged about something. It don't matter what it is, from your clothes to what you eat to the words you speak to what you drive. Once you accept that, the transition will be a little bit easier. But a lot of people kind of look at themselves in the mirror. Really, they in disgrace within themselves, and they don't want to accept it on themselves, so they just get mad at the world. Right. Right. Then when they heal, they'll come back and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry. You weren't talking about me or directly at me." That's 20 years later. I mean, but you know how that be. What are some of the upcoming I don't want to say situations, but I want to say events or things you got going on for the company and the motivation speaking part?
Oh my goodness, it's like so many things going on. Well, I mean, it's the summertime. So in the summertime, I do pop-up shops because I make jewelry. So that's one thing that I really like to do, like make jewelry, shea butters, healthy teas, stuff like that. And I'll go to the pop-up shops. In the wintertime, I don't do it so much because it's just like a slow time. I like being out and about in the community and talking to people who, you know what I'm saying, who have businesses and seeing what they got going on, how I can support them, if I can put them on the show. Like I said, I am going to be getting with some other podcasters, and we're going to see if they want to do like a one night a week or once a month, like just big show. You know what I'm saying? Where we have a topic and we kind of all talk about it, mainly for the African American community. So that, you know, and I know it's already a lot of stuff out there, but I feel like, you know, it's some areas that we need to change in and do better if people are really paying attention to the world.
Right.
And then the artists, two of them are working on new albums, so we're working through that. We're working through those albums and getting the songs, you know, like mixed down, what songs they choosing.
Right.
Two of them are getting ready to do some videos, so we're working on timelines. One of my, one of my clients, she has just been released from prison. So she's going to be on my podcast on March 13th. And we are going to be talking about her new adventures into helping teens not do the things that she did. So that's big too.
Right. Reach one, teach one. Definitely. Definitely
Right.
approve on that. Any female rappers or entertainers on the management side?
Um, I claim her, but she I don't know. I don't know. She my rapper because she, you know, like I make sure she get to where she need to get to or get the information that she get. And that's Co Pearls. I know she's gonna be on your podcast real soon. Her and Mike Moultrie will definitely be on there. So then you can really ask them, you know, like what they doing, like what they got going on.
Yeah, shout out to Co Pros and Mike Moultrie, man. Y'all definitely check their music out. You know, they out of Florida. Y'all get a taste of that. If I'm correct too, you used to do like I don't want to say a Meals on Wheels or kind of like cook out your house type thing.
You trying to tell all my business on these people internet? No,
Man, listen, somebody might want to order something. Don't be like that. They
we
might
are
want
more
some
side conversations. No, so what I used to do, and sometimes I still do it for certain people if they really need it. But for men who are single, and they don't want to cook and they got busy lives and stuff, so I would cook for them for a certain amount of days. So just like a what do you call it? Like a meal prep. You know what I'm saying? So I'll cook a bunch of stuff. They buy their own stuff that they want to, you know, like they want to eat or buy certain stuff that they want to eat, and I would cook it for them. And then they would pick it up on Sunday or Monday night and have all their meals for 7 days. I really don't have time to do it now, but I mean, I will, because I do cook every day for my children, but I just don't make that much food in one day anymore.
I like to place an order, like some ramen noodles, chips, and some sausage, please.
Okay, yeah, you could get that from your nearest grocery store. You can get that from your nearest grocery store.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Any touring coming up or anything, city to city, state to state?
Well, probably coming up soon, maybe after April. I mean, yeah, after April. So like May, getting into the summertime, probably be some touring going on, and you know, just some state to state trying to get their names out there more. But April is kind of like a calm down. Let's get the music together. Let's get some clean music out there. Let's get some radio shows and, you know, different things like that. Just kind of like taking a little break and letting them kind of like, let's, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you have to do that. You can run, but then it's like everything is not solidified like you need it to be. So that's kind of what we're gonna do.
Well, but you know, taking that break can be costly because as you break it, somebody else is not. So you gotta just keep it going.
See, well, it's not really a break. You still want to produce your content, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you taking that time to put that work in your work. Because every day you should be doing content. So you should have enough content to last 30 days or more as an artist, as a brand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you should have enough content to take a vacation and say, my brand just gonna run from me. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like my posts that come on my Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. there was a time, you know what I'm saying? Like it's scheduled out for the whole month. Sometimes I'm like looking at notifications. I'm like, dang, did I post something? You know what I'm saying? And that's how it should be.
And people, when it comes to content, it's a such thing as lazy content. Just because you got to post content every day, we don't want you to just wake up and take a video of you running your water, brushing your teeth, man. Put some kind of effort into it. Make me want to watch your content. Don't just wake up and do dumb shit just to say you got content, because it's a difference. People who know the difference between lazy content and real content. Just want to put that out there.
I know you're gonna let them people brush their teeth on their content.
Oh, look, it's bad enough I gotta see you with boogers in your ass cooking bacon and eggs, but I gotta watch you brush your teeth with that poop incident. No.
Oh goodness.
Not at all. I want to see something interesting. Same with me. I mean, that works for everybody. Got to be something interesting.
Right. It will be. I think that content is hard. You know what I'm saying? It really is. It's very hard. And so sometimes people get into the mind state where they just want to produce something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's kind of like they don't really, like they don't know how. Like some people are learning, like a lot of people are not tech savvy, or they don't understand how to make an audio video, like a video that will make itself. All you got to do is post the pictures. Right. You know what I'm saying? They don't really understand it, or I don't know why people gatekeep information, but people do. And so they don't allow people to learn. Like they'll be at home using the audio thing to make their videos and be telling them, oh, you got to post more content. You got to post more content. Well, teach me how you post your content so I can post like that too.
Everybody competition. I don't care. We could be friends. We can be in the same crew. It's still, if it's friendly, it's still competition. And they feel like if I show you how to make content, yours go get more views than mine. It's petty, but it's the God honest gospel.
Man, and I'm just so against it. I'm so against it.
Don't be against it. Look, I'm gonna tell you what you do. You just outdo them. You roll over them, and then they got no choice but to say, "That was dope. My bad." You know what I'm saying? But
right.
People do not show you. They hide information, and they've been doing this since the beginning of time. It's gonna be like that to the end of time. But for some people, a lot of people aren't computer savvy. Best thing I can tell you is get a VHS tape, put the camera in there, put it on your shoulders, and we go figure that part out.
We are not getting VHS tapes, Rain. Now they don't
listen.
They don't even sell that anymore.
Yeah, right. What? I guarantee if I go on the internet right now, I'm gonna find a Betamax, I'm gonna find a VHS, I'm gonna find something old school, because there's people that collect them, and I'm gonna say that's what you need to record on. And you know why it's gonna sell? Because people like retro, nostalgic things. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and I'm not going nowhere, evidently.
I don't know. I just saw you get up out that seat a little bit. So
I'm too big to be doing all that, man. Stop telling lies to these people. I might be able to create magic and whatnot, but it ain't happening right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. But anything you want to tell the viewers and the people and the younger generation about business or just futuristic type thing? Anything you want to tell people?
I would say just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't watch people. I don't watch people. I don't know what nobody else is doing. So don't watch people. Just focus on where you're going, what your goals are, because your journey is your journey and their journey is their journey. You know what I'm saying? Watching people creates jealousy. It creates envy. It distracts you from what you're doing. It distracts you from being the best you that you can be. So don't watch anybody. Just work. Just work.
Fact. 100%. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to follow Zip Mouth Management. Follow Zip. Check out our podcast. Hey, if you need a good manager, look into Zip. You know what I'm saying? She about to give me a Benz, a Maserati, all kind of shit about to come my way. Believe that. There's other things coming. What we about to do now is take a commercial break, and when we come back, she's going to be co-hosting me on the topic of sundown towns. We're going to dig a little deep, and we're going to open y'all eyes to America. We want you to stay woke. So some people say they woke. I guarantee y'all not. So get up, get your coffee, get the boogers out your eyes. When we come back, we're going to give y'all something to really listen to and talk about and think about. Things to make you go, what?
You got 100 points.
Have you been moisturizing?
Just sunscreen.
That's 50 points.
With AARP rewards, anyone can earn points.
Who's got 200 points?
You've got 200 points.
It's the free loyalty program that rewards you.
They're ready for you.
That's 300 points.
And helps your money, health, and happiness live longer.
Are these ties? 200 points.
Start earning and redeeming points today.
At Sleep Number, we know science proves your best sleep is vital to your mental, emotional, and physical health. The new Sleep Number Climate 360 Smart Bed is the only smart bed in the world that actively cools and warms, giving you both optimum sleeping temperatures. It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to help keep you both effortlessly comfortable. And our smart sleepers get 28 minutes more restful sleep per night. Proven quality sleep. Visit sleepnumber.com to learn more.
Let's take a little test together. Which looks better, this or this? This or this? Seems clear to me. Saving cash beats spending it unwisely every time, which is why you'll love this offer from America's Best. Buy 2 pairs of glasses for just $79.95, and they'll throw in an eye exam for free. It's a savings of at least $59. That's not just a better deal, it's America's Best. Book an exam online today.
Welcome back, people. Welcome back to the Spotlight. We're at the coffee table where you speak freely. We got Zip of Zip Mouth Management and Motivation podcast being my co-host today too. And today's topic in the second half of the show is going to be called Sundown Town. For those who don't know what a sundown town is, never heard of it, it is a town where people of color can work, come through, but cannot live. And Zip, my question is, what do you have for the people for our sundown town? Let's tell them something good. Let them in. Let them in.
Good. Okay.
You know what I mean. It ain't nothing good.
This topic is a little touchy for me because I am blackity black. So it's it's a little, so sundown towns exclude Black people. Like you said, you can come in that town, you can work, you can buy some food, you could patronize the businesses, but then and it really was called Sunset Town in the beginning. So when the sun set, you got to be gone. You know what I'm saying? And the saddest part is some of these towns still exist. You know what I'm saying? They still exist, even though they say we live in the land of the free. But that's a whole nother conversation about that. But I did just a few researches on a couple of places that was in Florida. And I found like Miami Beach was one of the places that came up. And I found it so ironic because like in the 40s and 50s, these were sunset towns, sundown towns. Like Black people had to leave out of these towns. And when it got dark, they had to be gone. But they said they could stay in these towns if they were performers, if they worked in houses, or like if they did some kind of domestic job, what I'm saying? But when you think about it, it's still kind of true today because when everybody, and I'm equating this to artists, because when everybody getting big, the first thing they like, oh, I need to go to Miami. You know what I'm saying? I need to go to Miami Beach and I need to perform there. But it's kind of like, do y'all realize like that is the place where we weren't even allowed to go unless we were being used? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was kind of like when you really search the history of sundown towns, even though a lot of places like, oh, it's Black people who live there now, but you want to ask yourself like, how secure are they? Are they still going through racism, or like what's happening in these towns? Because how come it's certain paths, even as an adult now, there's certain paths that I won't take traveling the road because these towns are known for either pulling Black people over, Black people getting arrested, Black people coming up missing. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. Just depends.
And what people got to understand about a sundown town is when the sun actually comes down, you're either going to get escorted out by the law, the mob. You might not even make it out at all. And what a lot of people have to understand too is nowadays it's more subliminal than not outright as it was in the past. So you may be in a sundown town and you not know till one day you open your eyes and catch something and then do research, and that's what that meant Where back in them times it was blatantly what it was. Nigga,
Right.
get out of here. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Don't be here at dark. And I gotta say rest in peace to Victor Green. For those who don't know who Victor Green is, Victor Green was a gentleman out of New York. He worked at the post office in the 30s and the 40s all the way up to his death in the 60s. And what he did, he wrote a book called The Green Book. It was first published in 1936. And with the Green Book, it was for Negro motorists. And yes, that's exactly what it said, Negro motorists. And it was green, people who don't know. And what it did was it let you know where sundown towns were, where to get a good meal, where to stop for gas, where to be safe at, where people, because see, back in them times, a lot of hotels didn't allow African Americans or people of color to stay in. So you may have had somebody who had an extra bedroom in their house, in their barn, in their garage. And in that book, it lets you know this particular house is safe for people to travel. And that book ran for 30 years. He died in 62. It ran all the way to 66.
Wow.
And a lot of people, you probably won't find it in print, but if you can get a copy, keep it. Or if you can find it, read it, because that's what helped people of color travel and be safe. Because if you couldn't find these places to stay, you're on the side of the road, and that still wasn't a safe spot because you may have kids with you. If you couldn't eat, you had to have, like, I want to say, a packed lunch, or even sometimes cans to use the bathroom in. And with the sundown towns, a lot of them on Route 66, believe it or not. And to this day, they're still there. But you may see a historic sign stating this is what this was. But back then, that wasn't that. That restaurant, you couldn't go in and get a piece of apple pie, whites only pie. Now you can.
Right.
And people need to really know about, like, what's going on, because it's been people over time that has dealt with that. And I had to definitely let that be known about Victor Green, because it started off as a 16-page book, and every year he updated it. It went from 16, and by the time he passed to 62, it was over hundreds of pages in that book for motorists to travel, to be safe. And it's actually a movie called The Green Book, and I think people should watch it because, again, they talk about that in that book. They have scenes about that and everything. And it's interesting as far as the word sundown towns and racism, because you go in places now, and yeah, they still exist in 2023, but it's covered, very covered and very subliminal. Like Harrison, Arkansas, they got a sign. It says, "Tune in to white radio, white pride radio, pirate radio. I love my people." It's a big heart sign with a white girl next to it, and they're embarrassed by it, but the Klan live there, and they're paying for that. So what you gonna say? They just deal with it, but it's in your face, you know.
Right.
And go ahead.
I think I felt like, I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I want to fight about it. But now I just feel like, why can't we just go wherever we gonna go? And I feel like if you know a place is a sundown town, I wouldn't even go there, because I'm not gonna patronize your business and you don't even like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even really want me in that place, and I got to leave when the sun goes down or before it goes down. There was a gentleman that I was just watching a couple of days on Facebook and or maybe TikTok or something, and I invested into the story because the young man was a contractor in obviously a sundown town. He ended up getting into it with one of the workers, so they no longer wanted to take him back and forth from the site. So they ended up leaving him at the hotel, but just out getting some food. He calls his mom, this is in Mississippi. He calls his mom and he tells his mom, he says, "Hey, a couple of trucks full of white guys. They kind of like, they after me." So his mom, because we think we can go to the police in these sundown towns, and we can't. But his mom tells him, "Well, go to the police." So he go to the police. He tells them, "Well, hey, can you just take me to the next town over? Take me to the black town. I don't got to be in y'all space." You know what I'm saying? But the young man ended up finding him, expired, because the police wouldn't help him, who should have helped him, but because he was in the sundown town and they were racist. So now this young man is no longer here. You know what I'm saying? I think he was like 27 years old. For what?
Yeah.
For what? I guess my issue is like African American people, Black people are no longer the minority. We are the
Right.
majority, which means that we do the majority of spending, of buying houses, whatever, whatever the situation is. We are a large population now. So if we still can't move around in different towns, we still got to be afraid if our car break down or my kids got to go to the bathroom. We got to go like 20 miles up the road where they about to almost pee on themselves.
Right.
In order to be accepted. Like what? That to me, it's just like I don't want to see no sundown town.
Right. Well, I tell anybody, wherever you go, you pay attention to body movement, you pay attention to the tone, you pay attention to the scenery, because you might be in a sundown town and it looks comfy and cozy and got the best biscuits on earth, but I guarantee you, as it get dark or as you sit there, somebody's gonna let you know this ain't where you want to be, or you might want to keep on pushing. And I always say go with your first instinct, because nowadays it's different. Everybody got a gun, everybody got a knife. Everybody's not scared, and it could be 10 times worse than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. And life is too valuable to just play around with or take a gamble. I mean, you already got it hard on a normal day, but you trying to have a good time and travel. Now you got to have it hard too on a vacation. And stop the madness.
Right. So, I mean, I just don't think it's fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you going to say most of the, and I don't think Black people realize this, that most of the sundown towns were originally Black towns. You know what I'm saying? That have been burnt down, or the Black people have been pushed out of these towns.
Right.
Like for instance, I think it's called Elfers, Florida. In 1920, it was a Black town, but what they did was the white people did a complete massacre of a Black sawmill. Killed all the people. You feel what I'm saying? They killed all the people, and then they pushed the rest of the people out. Like, this our town, and now y'all not allowed back in our town. So y'all stole our town, and now we can't come in there no more. And so that's why I just be like,
That sound like Rosewood for real.
Oh, they did that in Rosewood. Rosewood is Delray Beach. You know what I'm saying? It's the
really?
Same. Yeah,
Didn't know that.
Delray Beach is close to Rosewood, so that's what they did there. Now, hold on though, because see, the white people had their town, they had their own town, but they wanted that land too. So then they go over there and they set them people stuff on, on fire, and now y'all can't come back over here no more.
Right. I definitely want to say, excuse me, I'm sorry, baby. Rest in peace to Carol Jenkins. Carol Jenkins was a female who worked at the Ford plant in Indiana at one point in time in the 60s. And work got kind of scarce, so she started selling encyclopedias. She was going door to door. And she decided to go in a sundown town in the daytime to sell it. And as it was around September, and as it got closer to 4 o'clock, it does what? It gets a little dark.
Right.
She's seen a couple people following her and harassing her and wooing and So she went up to a couple's house and said, "Hey, can you let me in? I need a safe place." And they wouldn't let her in. And they found her body with a screwdriver stabbed in her chest. Years down the line, that lady, her kids were there when she knocked on the door, and they somehow contacted her parents and told them what really happened. And the girl, the guy that actually killed her, his daughter was there. She witnessed it.
Oh, wow.
He gave her candy and $7 to keep her mouth shut. And when she got older, before she died, she reached out to Carol Jenkins' family and broke down the whole situation. And they actually found the guy later, and he was frail, frittered old man. And of course, he was acquitted of all of it, but it just took that long for the truth to come out. And this woman died just trying to make a buck because she was in a sundown town, and people were so scared they wouldn't let her in the house. And then when they gave information, they still wouldn't give their names. And then later down the line, people found out, oh, that was so-and-so. They were there that day. They're telling their, I guess I'm gonna say their piece or their part in the story. And it's sad and tragic that the world is like that.
It is. I mean, it's just sad because you can't, like, we still can't go anywhere. I just think it's ironic that you don't have any black sundown towns. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could pretty much be anybody and come into our towns and we're not gonna bother you. You know what I'm saying? But yet we can't go into other people's towns
Right.
without being bothered or tortured or come up missing or hurt, or you know what I'm saying? Like, me personally, I just don't think it's fair. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's be honest. If it was a such thing as a black sundown town, I think it wouldn't last long because it would get wiped off the map. Because let's be real, white America is not going to allow that to just exist. That's good. They're going to have to get rid of that ASAP. That's like terrorism.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's okay for them to linger around or cover up to make it seem like it never happened. And
Right.
that's the history of life, you know.
Right.
Living in Florida, do you have any names you can tell the listener and viewers of towns to watch out for, or if they want to go on an educational trip to find out about these sundown towns? Do you have any names?
They could go and check out Cedar Key. Like 1/3 of the population there is black. In Cedar Key, actually, in the 20s, in 1912, it was actually a black town. But then again, like I said, the white people, they pushed the black people out and then told them, like, basically, you're not allowed here anymore. Delaware Beach, Gulfport, Miami Beach, Mackay City, which I thought was really strange because it's MYAKKA City. What I thought was really strange is the black people built the railroad. They built the railroad in this city. You know what I'm saying? They built the railroad in this city. Then they got pushed out. Now they say it's getting better, like they accepting of more people now, but it's still the fact that, you know, some people are still unsafe when they go into that area. You know what I'm saying? And let's see, I think it was one more. It's Tom, Florida. St. Cloud. St. Cloud, the same thing. It was originally a black city. It was where black people were migrated at. And they pushed them out and told them you can't come back in the city no more. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's probably more, but they're not going to advertise it, or, you know what I'm saying? I think the city that I live in now, they probably wish it was a sundown town. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain places where they have, in Florida, where they have curfews, or where people can't, and mostly it's black people, they can't leave outside of this area. You can't be this age to be outside of this area, whatever the case may be. And they say, like, it's drama, but when you really think about it, black people are drama amongst themselves. You feel what I'm saying? We're not stepping into other people's stuff and messing with them. People are coming into our stuff and messing with us.
Right.
Or we're not allowed into their stuff unless we spending money.
Right. And that's interesting you said that, because that is the truth. It's been times I went in the store and they're like, you know, can I help you? And then once they realize you're spending money, you cool. Oh, okay. Hey, you know, do what you want. Mm-hmm. But the way society is now, when it comes to African American people, our people, that you're right. If they're spending money, you're cool. But they want to act funny. They want to do all kind of racist stuff and do crazy things. But they emulate. They mimic. They want to walk, talk, and be just like our culture. We are the trendsetters, but yet y'all want to somehow, y'all rather be more like us than anything in the world. And it's crazy, because there's nothing wrong with learning about another culture or the trials and tribulation of a race. But you can't just put yourself in the race and say, this is what I am. Accept it. And you're more blacker than me, or more whatever nationality you mixed with, you're more than that. You be looking at them like, and then we ask them about who they are, they lost. They can't tell you much, you know.
Right.
They don't know what to tell you.
Right. I'm convinced that most of the world don't know who they are at this point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's been so much, like, we don't know who's telling the truth. Like, we just don't know who's telling the truth at this point. Only thing that we know is that Black people, some Asian people, some Indian people, we still don't have the same freedoms as everybody else does.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even as a woman, although people think like women have all this and the other, But all the time, it's always something. Especially like being in the corporate world, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like in certain jobs that I worked at, it was a sundown job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
once you get to a certain level, once you're not a file clerk or a docketing clerk, oh, you go into management, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? So now you got the Black Joes, you got the, you talking to people and you talking in my regular how I talk. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you should go back to school, and if you get your master's degree, you can have. Oh, sir, I got my master's degree. So you're gonna give me the position that you was just gonna tell me I could have if I had my master's degree? Now your face red, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So it's just I just don't think it's fair that we can't travel like regular people can. And I ain't gonna say regular people, but like white people can. We can't go to different places because when you really think about it, when white people come into our towns, they can eat our food, they can hang out with us, they could do whatever. You know what I'm saying? They come into our towns and they kill up a bunch of people. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But we don't. We just don't. We don't have the ability to move around like we should be able to move around.
Well, at the same time, it's education and growth, because if you got a kid that was raised in a little town to do nothing but hate, when he get older, what he gonna do? He's gonna be a grown man in that little town doing what? Hate, until he get out the town and realize, wow, we the same color, we got the same problems, we make the same money. You might make more, I might make less, and that's it.
Right.
And that's where it begins at. And I really think people, I'm not gonna say people, I really think the whole world need to just educate themselves on everything, because like the topic we're talking about today, if we wouldn't have brought it up, somebody's sitting there watching right now or listening, and they're like, I never thought about that. And they're gonna have a memory like, I remember that one time I cut through and whoop the whoop. Because when you travel, yeah, you might be going to a big city, but you got these little towns and these offbeat areas in between. There's nowhere around them. They're there.
Right.
And you definitely need to be aware, you know what I'm saying? Because there's been numerous times we didn't went places and you go use the bathroom, you be like, man, get y'all stuff. Let's go. Matter of fact, don't even buy nothing. How much gas we got? We're going to the next spot, because you can just feel the vibe, and you can tell that Earl at the counter, he don't really want to be at work, but let alone he don't want no black people coming in his store.
Exactly. And I guess I just don't understand that piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it is an educational piece, but why do we have to educate on this? You feel what I'm saying? That's my question. Like, why does this have to be an educational piece? Because we supposed to be in the land of the free. You know what I'm saying? We have equal rights here, is what they tell us. Like, don't get me started on that.
One thing about America, one thing about America, you take majority stuff with a grain of salt. Do your education, you do your homework, because anything that's in stone that America set from back in the 1800s, 1700s, you start flipping through it, you're going to turn over some rocks and some stones, you're going to find out that ain't the whole story.
It was all a dream, like Biggie said.
Right.
It was all a dream. You know what I'm saying? That's why they call it the American dream, because it really is a dream. It's not really it's not really what they say it is. You know what I'm saying? And African American, Black people, we have to educate ourselves more and learn how to make these laws and learn to stand up for each other. You know what I'm saying? To be more of a community. So when, especially when you're traveling, have somebody that you can call and talk to, like, hey, like, I don't feel safe where I'm at, but I got to get gas because it's on E, and I didn't, and this is why I teach people when they travel with me. One of my cousins taught me, he's from Alabama, but he's passed away now, but he taught me, every time you travel, make sure you don't pass the half. Don't pass the half. Once you get to a half a tank, you go and you stop and get gas again, because you don't want to break down in a town where you're not allowed to be. You know what I'm saying? And why did he have to teach me that? It's like, what?
My thing is, if you're on the highway, I guess I'm gonna say stick to the franchise gas station. You know what they are. And if you see our old offbeat gas station and you have to stop, then use your credit card, hit that debit card, pop 10 in, go on to the next one, because you're gonna know the vibe. You're definitely gonna know it. And that's, you know what? That's just the way it is. but it takes people like us and other people to keep pushing forward, to keep pushing the education, the knowledge for the people to know. Like I said, I'm gonna go back to the Green Book. It's not published no more, but I think they ought to publish it because it'd be something people should know of every race.
Right.
Because man, like I said, Route 66. I've traveled on it. I might have went somewhere in 8, and that could have been a sundown town, or that could have been a shady diner. But
Right.
I think people need to read that book and learn and just ask. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. You see an elderly person, if you stand in line with an elderly person, ask some questions. I guarantee you, he or she got a story that you're gonna remember. You're gonna want to look up. Let me look at the internet and get on this paper, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, I can't believe that, Billy."
Right, because you would be amazed at how many of these sundown towns were actually Black towns that were burned down, and the Black people were pushed out of them, and now we can't go back in those areas. So it was something fruitful about that area, about that town, about why don't y'all want to see? So, but just be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of when you're traveling up any route. You know what I'm saying? 275 and 75 too, because there are areas there that we are not allowed to go as well, or quote unquote not allowed to go. But if you know me, you know I'm wherever I'm stopping in everybody's town. So
like my people in Texas. Terrell, Texas is one of them. Vender, Texas. Walden, Texas. De Leon, Texas. These are places right now. I guarantee people didn't travel through and have not thought nothing about it. But go through there when it get close to the sun down and on, and see what kind of greeting you may get. Somebody that's gonna warn you, hey, my man, you might want to go next town, get a burger. Then you go get somebody that's gonna say something rude to you, to the point where you either gonna want to pull your pistol, or you gonna want to jump on him, or you might just be like, and just gotta nod. You know what I'm saying?
And just remember too, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I know the one thing to remember is people think that this only happens in the South, and it doesn't. This is happening in the North too. This is happening in places like California. They got little sundown towns there, like towns where the population of Black is very slim. And when they say the population of Black is slim, I always think of interracial couple, because the only thing that's saving that Black person is the fact that they are with somebody who is a white person or a Caucasian, however you want to say it.
Speaking of that particular subject, interracial couple, I ran across a news, not a news clipping, but a video where they were explaining that a white back in the late 60s, a white woman had a interracial relationship, had a Black husband, and they asked her, "You were raised in this town, why didn't you stay?" And she pointed at the picture of her son, which was a mixed baby, and that's crazy. You had to move because your son is mixed, because you chose love and not hate.
Right. And that's why I say, even though interracial couples are like all open now, but it used to be a time where you only saw that it was the white lady with the Black man. Like this new like Black woman with the white man, that's something new. You know what I'm saying? But it used to be that interracial. And then these women would have to leave with their families, or could never, their child would never be able to know their side of the family because they don't accept them. But Black people, we accept just about everybody. Not that there's not any racist Black people, but there's very few racist Black people than there is racist white people. You know what I'm saying? Because and if it's a grandbaby, we might be racist, but I know a couple of people that are racist, but they have biracial grandchildren. Their whole mindset has changed. Like, that's my baby, that's my grandbaby. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference.
Yeah. Or you have Black men who was run up out of their town for messing with a white girl. I mean, they literally had to migrate someplace else, because by 6 o'clock in the morning, they would have been dead and gone, just because they got involved with a white woman.
Right. Because love has no color. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reality of it. Love has no color. So if we could just learn to love each other, then we won't have sundown towns and places where we can't travel and be ourselves when we go into these spaces.
Right. Matter of fact, I got something better. I'm gonna challenge everybody. Get on your computer, type in sundown towns in America, and I guarantee you it's gonna blow your mind, because all the way from Ohio to California, Dakota, Alabama, Boston, all them areas, they're there. Don't think they're not. They're there. I challenge y'all. Go do that. Type it on your computer, your phone, whatever, how you do it. And I guarantee you go learn something that's going to blow your mind.
Right. And I'm going to add to the challenge. And once you look up those towns, look up what happened in those towns to make them a sundown town. Right. And that is going to definitely blow your mind.
Hey, man, history period blows minds because I can't say it's not hard to process, but you got to look at from generation to generation. We dealt with racism in a certain way, but our parents or our grandparents, great grandparents, they dealt with it head on to when it was at its peak.
Right.
Like nowadays we might deal with it here and there, whatever it happened, but back then it was daily.
Right.
Daily. Like you couldn't have a nice car without somebody racist either want to tear it up or want to hurt you because you got something nice. Right. We're not allowed to have nothing nice, as the people say.
Right. I mean, it still goes on. It's still a lot of racist people in this world. Now there are people that are not racist and they for us and we for them. You know what I'm saying? But there's still a lot of racism in this world. Will it ever change? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like clearly, I don't know, because when the people learn that it's us against them, and us against them would be governmental. Right. We would come together on a greater level. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because when you really think about it, none of us are getting what we deserve as far as people, human beings. Whether you black, white, Chinese, Indian, Spanish, I don't care what you is. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting what is due to you properly.
True indeed. Well, Zip, I appreciate you coming on, co-hosting, telling us about yourself, as well as helping me open people's eyes and minds to sundown towns and other things that they should know about.
Yes, sir. Definitely. I greatly appreciate coming on the show. They'll see a lot of us because you'll be co-hosting on my show coming up here soon. So I'm excited.
I appreciate it. I definitely love that. As well as when you do the collective thing with the podcast, definitely include me in, because I mean we all got an opinion.
Like, how I'm gonna be a manager and not involve you in that? That like
you'd be surprised.
Everything over now. Everything that we just talked about is done. I don't know what happened, but see, this is what happens with us. We go forward and then we go backwards. We going forward.
Seesaw, teeter totter, however you want to put it.
Yeah, you say tomato, I say tomato, whatever it is.
Fact. I need everybody to tune in to next week on the show. We're going to have King Shorty Rock on. The week after that, we're going to have Stage on. Y'all definitely need to tune in, drop some comments, hit the like button, subscribe and share. Make sure y'all subscribe and share and hit the like button and follow Zip Motivation Podcast and Zip Management. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. I got places to go, people to do, and things to see. So thank you for tuning into the Spotlight and the Coffee Table, where we speak freely and say what we want. Until next time, I will see y'all. Take care.